Have you ever had a dream so real that it seemed to carry a special message? Have you ever wondered if God might be trying to talk to you in your sleep? Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? But here's what few people know. Dreams can be one of the most profound and mysterious ways God uses to communicate with us. Could that strange dream have a hidden meaning? How do you know if it's just your mind or something bigger? Today, let's explore together how God can use your dreams to guide you, answer your deepest questions, and even bring peace to your heart. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to show you how to interpret the signs you receive while you sleep, and how to turn your dreams into a powerful tool for connecting with the divine. Are you ready to discover what God might be saying to you? Then don't skip this video. Have you ever noticed how mysterious dreams can seem, almost like a language we haven't yet learned to translate? They are often full of details, emotions, and scenarios that seem unrelated at first glance. At their core, however, dreams are reflections of what is deeply held within us, as well as a channel through which the divine can whisper its truths. Yes, there are times when they are more than just images. They are invitations to hear something that transcends our human understanding. Since ancient times, dreams have been considered special. They have guided kings, saved nations, and answered troubled hearts. Think of Joseph in Egypt, who interpreted Pharaoh's dreams and changed the destiny of an entire people. Or think of Daniel, whose vision revealed mysteries beyond his time. These examples are not just to illustrate ancient stories, but to show that this connection is still available to you today. Dreams are important because they touch a part of us that is pure and open to the divine. When you're awake, your mind is filled with worry, distraction, and noise. But when you are asleep, your mind can be more receptive to hearing what God wants to communicate. It's as if in this state, He finds space to sow messages that only become clear when we reflect on them with our hearts. And don't think that you need a big event or extraordinary circumstances. Often these messages come in subtle ways, in small details that carry deep meaning. A dream can be the answer to something you've been looking for, or a direction you didn't even know you needed. The important thing is to learn to pay attention to them, for nothing is accidental. You may wonder how to distinguish between what is relevant and what is just part of your mind's daily routine. This doubt is natural, and part of the process of learning to listen. Because if there's one thing God always does, it's speak to us, whether through dreams or in other ways that you'll soon understand. Have you ever thought about how dreams have the power to connect us to something greater? They are not just random images, but can be a bridge that connects our soul to the divine. It is in that mysterious space between sleep and wakefulness that God can whisper answers, bring comfort, and even show us the way forward. Isn't it fascinating to think that while we rest, heaven finds ways to reach us? Throughout human history, there are many records of dreams being used as a means of divine communication. Remember Jacob, who saw a ladder connecting earth to heaven, with angels ascending and descending? This dream revealed to him God's constant presence in his life, even in his most uncertain moments. And this didn't happen by accident. God knew that through this dream, Jacob would understand that he was never alone. But what does this mean for you today? In a noisy world, where we rarely have time to listen to our hearts, dreams can be the quietest and most direct way God reaches us. Sometimes a dream message can bring the answer you've been seeking in prayer for days or months. Other times it can be a gentle reminder to trust again. Dreams don't just speak in words or clear images. They are full of symbols, as if they were a language to be learned patiently. That's why a seemingly confusing dream can often contain a powerful message. God uses what our minds know, images, sensations, and experiences, to translate what He wants to tell us. That's why it's worth paying attention, even when something doesn't seem to make sense at first. And if you wonder why God would choose to speak to you through dreams, the answer is simple. He wants a personal relationship with each of us. It's a way of reminding us that we are always connected, even when we don't realize it. Each dream is an invitation for you to reflect, to seek understanding, and to open your heart. And as you learn to listen to this voice during sleep, you begin to see how it resonates at other times in your life. When you wake up from a dream, Have you ever felt that there was something important there, even if the images seemed confusing? That's because dreams have a unique language, full of meanings that we don't always immediately understand. They are like coded messages that require attention and sensitivity to decipher. But why would God choose to communicate in such a symbolic way? Think about it. The human heart is full of complexity. Often we are so caught up in the routines and worries of daily life that we don't hear God's gentle voice during our waking hours. It is in dreams that He finds an opportunity to communicate what we need to know, but in a way that piques our curiosity and leads us to reflection. It's almost as if He is saying, "Pay attention. There's something you need to understand." Each element of the dream may hold a key to deciphering its message. For example, a river can represent the flow of life, while a door can symbolize new opportunities or the need for change. But the most important thing is not to look for universal interpretations. It's to look within and ask, what does this mean for me now? After all, God speaks to each person in a unique way, respecting who you are and where you are on your journey. It won't always be easy to understand what a dream means. It may take days or even weeks for the meaning to reveal itself, usually when you least expect it. For this reason, keeping a record of your dreams is a valuable practice. By writing down the details as soon as you wake up, you create a space for God to continue to work in your heart, helping you to connect the dots over time. And as you begin to see the meaning behind your dreams, you realize something even greater. They are not separate from your daily life. What God communicates while you sleep is often directly related to your decisions, prayers, and daily challenges. And that connection is only strengthened when you learn to listen with an open heart, trusting that each message has a purpose. Not every dream we have carries a spiritual message. Many are simply reflections of what we are experiencing, the worries we are carrying, or even what we are consuming in our daily lives. So how do you know when God is speaking to you? This is a question that many people ask, and the answer lies in careful observation and sensitivity to what you feel in your heart. One of the clearest ways to distinguish an ordinary dream from one that carries a divine message is by the impression it leaves. Dreams from God have a different emotional weight. Even if you don't understand the immediate meaning, they are often accompanied by an inexplicable peace or sense of urgency, as if something very important is being revealed. It's something you feel beyond words. Another point is the content of the dream. Dreams that carry spiritual messages are often full of universal symbols that speak directly to the soul. It could be a guiding light, a still voice calling your name, or even a situation that mirrors something you've experienced. God uses what is familiar to touch your conscience in a unique way so that you feel the message is meant only for you. It's also important to pay attention to the answers the dream may bring. Often they come after moments of prayer, when you are seeking guidance or comfort. If you wake up feeling that you have received an answer, even if you don't yet know how to apply it, it is likely that the dream came as a communication from the divine. But discernment also requires patience and prayer. If a dream catches your attention in a particular way, bring it before God in silence. Ask for clarity and be open to what He has to say. Sometimes understanding can come through a verse you read, advice from someone close to you, or even another dream. God is constantly working, aligning each piece according to His wisdom. Learning to hear and interpret divine dreams is like developing a new language. The more you try to understand, the more your spiritual sensitivity grows. And as this happens, you begin to realize that dreams are not the only way God speaks. They are part of something larger, an ongoing communication that manifests in every aspect of your life. Have you ever noticed that when you wake up from a dream, some images or situations seem to have a deeper meaning, even if you can't explain it? This is because intuition is a tool that God gives us to understand what dreams mean. It works like an inner compass, pointing to the truth hidden in the symbols and emotions we experience while we sleep. Intuition is like that quiet voice inside you that knows before you can put it into words. When God speaks through a dream, He not only conveys images, but also awakens in your heart a sense of, "This is important." It's an inner movement that cannot be ignored, even when reason tries to explain it away as something worthless. Trusting your intuition is essential when interpreting dreams. For example, you may dream of a house. For some people it may represent security, while for others it may symbolize change or something to do with family. The key is to ask yourself, what does this mean to me right now? Let your intuition, led by the Spirit, guide your answers. But remember, intuition also requires a heart that is open and attentive to the divine presence. It is strengthened when you spend time in prayer, silence, and contemplation. These moments allow your mind to align with God's thoughts, helping you to discern what is coming from Him and what is the result of your own emotions or worries. When you learn to trust this connection, dreams cease to be vague images and become instruments of revelation. What's more, you realize that intuition is not just for dreams, but for your entire daily life. It's proof that God is always near, guiding you even when words are not necessary. Dreams have a special place in the Scriptures. They are not just narratives of past events, but living demonstrations of how God speaks directly to His children, even while they sleep. These accounts show us that the Creator has used dreams as a means of guidance, warning, and promise from the very beginning. And most impressively, these messages are still relevant today, offering wisdom for our lives today. Consider the dream of Joseph, Jacob's son. He dreamt that he would be exalted, even though he was the youngest of his brothers. Although this caused envy and led him into difficult situations, this dream was a promise from God about the future. Years later, Joseph became the governor of Egypt and saved not only his family, but many nations. This example teaches us that God's dreams can point to something great, even if it seems impossible at the time. Another example is Daniel, who received visions that unlocked mysteries and revealed eternal truths. He interpreted King Nebuchadnezzar's dreams, showing that God not only guides individuals, but can also bring messages to leaders and entire nations. Daniel's story encourages us to trust that when God gives us a dream, He also gives us the ability to understand it. And what about Joseph, Mary's husband, who received instructions in a dream to protect Jesus? He was warned to flee to Egypt and later to return safely. These dreams remind us that God can use this form of communication to guide our steps and protect our lives in times of uncertainty. These biblical accounts show that dreams are a gift from God, a way of aligning us with His will. And just as they were important in the past, they continue to be important today. What we can learn from these examples is that God always has a purpose when He speaks to us, whether it's to guide us, comfort us, or prepare us for something greater. The key is to pay attention, not only to dreams, but also to what our hearts feel when we wake up. Often what God reveals in our dreams is the missing piece we need to see the next step. If dreams can be a bridge between you and God, how can we be sure that we are paying attention to the messages He wants to convey? The truth is that this connection takes intention and practice. It's not just a matter of sleeping and waiting for something to happen, but of preparing your heart and mind to perceive the subtleties of divine communication. Here are simple, practical steps to help you hear God through your dreams. First, begin with prayer. Before you go to sleep, take a moment to gather yourself in silence. Ask God to speak to you during the night and for your dreams to be clear and understandable. Surrender your worries and doubts to Him, for in doing so, you open up space in your mind to receive what is truly important. Second, keep a dream journal. As soon as you wake up, write down everything you remember, even if it seems meaningless. Details are valuable because meanings often emerge over time. Writing down your dreams is like mapping God's messages. As the days go by, patterns and answers may emerge, revealing something you didn't notice at first. Third, try to discern. Not every dream has spiritual significance, but those that come from God usually leave a special mark on the heart. Think about how you felt when you were dreaming and when you woke up. Was it something that brought peace, clarity, or a call to action? This impression is an important indicator that the dream deserves attention. Fourth, meditate on what you have written down. Reread your notes and ask yourself, what does this mean for my life now? Often the answers will come as the day progresses, through signs, coincidences, or even by reading a biblical text. God doesn't just speak in dreams, He also confirms His messages in other ways. Finally, trust. Sometimes dreams can seem confusing or take a while to make sense of, but remember that God has a perfect time to reveal His purposes. Patience and faith are essential in this process. And while you wait, continue to place yourself at His disposal, trusting that each dream is part of something bigger that He is building in your life. As you follow these steps, you will realize that dreams are not just reflections of your mind, but powerful tools for listening to the Creator. What's more, you'll discover that this practice strengthens your connection with God in all areas of your existence. Although dreams are a deep and personal way of divine communication, they are not the only way God uses to reach the human heart. He speaks in other ways, adapting to each person's circumstances and needs. Recognizing these other ways of hearing His voice is essential to a full and connected spiritual life. God speaks through His Word, which is eternal and living. A verse you read in a moment of doubt may be the answer you've been looking for. Scripture is full of promises, counsel, and examples that speak directly to the situations we face today. Just as He inspired the dreams of Daniel or Joseph, He continues to lead through messages that are clear and accessible to all. Another way God communicates His will is through the people around us. Sometimes an unexpected piece of advice from someone close to you, or even a sentence uttered by a stranger, contains the wisdom you need to hear. It's as if God uses circumstances and relationships to confirm what He has already planted in your heart, whether in a dream or in moments of silence. The Holy Spirit also works directly in our lives, bringing comfort, correction, and direction. This inner presence is often felt as a peace that passes understanding or a conviction that comes without logical explanation. It is a constant and loving way for God to be present, reminding you that you are never alone, even in the most difficult moments. And we can't forget creation. Nature, in its simplicity and beauty, also reveals God's majesty. A sunset, the sound of rain, or the flight of birds can be subtle reminders that He is in control, that there is order and purpose in all that happens. Sometimes it's in these moments of contemplation that the answers you're looking for emerge with clarity. Understanding that God speaks beyond dreams doesn't diminish their importance, but it does broaden your perception of how He is present in every aspect of life. He uses every possible way to reach you, from your sleep to your daily encounters. And as you learn to hear His voice at different times, you realize that in every detail there is an invitation to trust and follow in faith.